Yeah, hello everyone. So in last video, we have seen what are the different approaches that we can use to add CSS in our HTML document. In that, we came to know that we have three approaches. Those are, the first approach is your inline approach. Second approach is internal approach. And third approach is your external approach. Now let's see practically how all these approaches are used. So for this, what I will do, the first step, I will create one HTML document. So create a simple HTML document and add following elements. Add following elements. So what are the elements I will add? So the first element I'm going to add is div. In that div, I will mention one h2 and then I will mention one paragraph. This is what the elements I'm going to mention in my HTML document. So let's try. So let me move towards VS Code. Let me create here one HTML file, something called approach.html. Let's create the basic skeleton of our HTML document. So let me remove these meta tags right now. Yes, let's come back here. So inside this body, I am taking one div. In that, I will take h2 and simply I will mention welcome to CSS. After h2, I will take paragraph and I will add some random content in this. So the moment I add my div h2 and paragraph, and if I load this HTML document in my browser, this is how my UI components will look like. Now my requirement is the h2 content, which is shown in the black color. This content I want to show in blue color. This content I want to show in a blue color. For that, I want to use inline approach. So how to use inline approach? For that, we have to go to the h2 element. Now to this h2 element, we have to add style attribute. And in this double quotes, we have to mention a property called color. So color is one of the CSS property using which we can change the color of our the text which we are mentioning in our HTML element. So this is h2 element. In that I am mentioning some content like welcome to CSS. Now this color, if I want to change the content color, then we are going to use CSS property called color. And after adding key name, we have to add colon. And here we have to mention some color name. So I'm mentioning blue and then semicolon. Now save it, go back to your browser, refresh it. You will see that your h2 content is in the blue color. If you are adding CSS in an attribute form, then this approach is called inline approach. Now, how to use internal approach? For the internal approach, in our head section or in body section also, you can take style tag. We have to take style tag. After taking style tag, to which element you want to add CSS properties, that element you have to select. Now we will have a separate videos on the selectors of CSS. So we have multiple ways to select our HTML element. One of the very basic ways we can use tag name. We can use something called tag name. So here I want to add CSS property, some color I want to add for this paragraph. Maybe I want to change this paragraph color to something like red. So I need to add some CSS to this paragraph. So to add CSS to this paragraph, first we have to select that paragraph. How to select? So inside this style tag, you can write the tag name. Tag name is P. Then open curly brace, close curly brace. And inside this curly brace, you mention your CSS properties. So right now, I just want to change the color of that paragraph. So for that, we can use again color property, colon, and just mention some color name. For example, red. Semicolon, save your file. Don't forget to save your file. Go back to the browser, refresh it. You will see that the text color of the paragraph has changed from black to red. Now, if you are adding styles using style tag approach, then this approach is called internal approach. If we are adding CSS with this approach, then this approach is called internal approach. Now let's assume that for this div, I want to add some background color. I want to add some background color to this div. Now to add background color to this div, I want to use external approach. So what is this external approach? In external approach, we create separate CSS file. So here I am creating one separate CSS file. In this CSS file, we will write our CSS code. So here also same story. First, we have to select our element. So this time I want to add some styles to my div element. So I will select that div using tag approach. And here I will assign a property called background-color and I will assign a color called black. Apart from this, I will add one more CSS property, something called padding, something like 30 pixels. As of now, don't worry about the properties. We will discuss each and every property in very detailed. This video is all about showing you how to add external CSS, how to add CSS using internal approach, how to add CSS using inline approach. That is what this video is all about. So right now, just focus on the approach part. Don't worry about the CSS properties. So now I have added my CSS properties and I have saved it. Now what I need to do, I have to link this CSS file with my HTML document. So to link this CSS file with our HTML document, in our header section, we have to use a tag called link, and which is self-closing tag. Now this link tag will take two attributes. First one is rel, whose value should be style sheet. And we have to use one more attribute called href. And the value of this href should be the address or the location or the path of your CSS file. The value of href attribute should be location or address or path of your CSS file. So right now my CSS file and HTML file are present in the same folder. So directly I can provide my CSS file name and just save it. Now go back to your browser and refresh it. You will see that some background color and some padding is added to your CSS, to your div element. Now, if I want, I can change this paragraph color from red to white. So here, let me change it to white. Let's see how it looks. Save it, go back, refresh it. And this H2 color, I want to change from blue to yellow. So here I can mention something called yellow. Now, if I go back here and if I refresh, it looks like this. Now for H2, we have added styles using inline approach. For paragraph, we have added styles using internal approach. For div, we have added styles using external approach. That is what I wanted to cover in this video. Thank you everyone for watching the video.